to turn it over to the one above. And the reason I'm going that path right now is because I knew that ancestors were going to be ever present today. And what I really discovered was how present they were when I walked in and I saw Bobby in a Pan Am flight attendant's uniform. Because what's not shared, what she didn't know, is my father worked for Pan Am. And the truth of the matter is, the only reason I have a bachelor's degree that set me on a stage for some other degrees, including being a minister, was my dad worked for Pan Am, and I could fly anywhere in the world for $10. As long as I was 25, up till I was 25 and in school. And then I could fly 4 times a year for $25 anywhere in the world till I was 33. Now it's interesting, I think Jesus was 33 when his life changed. My life changed when I couldn't fly anymore, but that's also about the time that Pan Am went out of business. And it wasn't because I was flying everywhere for nothing. It was not, I don't take any. But the ancestors have been present for a few other reasons today. Because you know what, whether you know it or not, this is holy. This is a holy time that we're in. You know, my one ancestor that's ever present with me right now is my grandmother Bennett, who was Irish Catholic. And Halloween was always the night that the ancestors gathered. The people gathered because they were gathering, because if you kind of died on the Day of the Dead on November 2nd, you had to wait in the Catholic religion, you had to wait until November 1st to be left in heaven. So you were in purgatory. So Halloween was the night that everybody gathered, but it's also what they call there's a thin veil between the worlds. Okay, so we have Halloween, that's today, and everybody's gathering. And then we have tomorrow, that's All Saints Day. And it also happens to be my nephew Christopher's birthday and my other grandma's birthday. And then of course we have this celebration of the Day of the Dead. And that's really about remembering the ancestors. And then this year, Diwali starts. And Diwali is another tradition's season of lights. So this time period really begins the season of lights that takes us till January 6th, when we have a revelation and the kings arrive at Christ's birth, right? Not at his birth, but at his cradle. So it's a powerful time. So for Halloween, they told us to dress up, and you know, I said, you know, my joke for Halloween is this is a bunch of hocus pocus, and I'm really going to talk to you about hocus pocus and the field that I'll meet you at, and I'm going to set the stage for the hocus pocus right now by getting back in the middle of the frame and knowing that this meeting is being recorded. So I'm going to punch those off my screen so I can see. But in the movie Hocus Pocus, Bette Midler's mixing her brew. Okay. And she says, wiggle thy toes. So everybody wiggle your toes. Because you know what? Wiggling your toes lets you know you're here, right? Let's wiggle our toes and open our eyes. Twist thy fingers toward the sky. Wow, isn't that how you do prayer sometimes, right? Life is sweet, be not shy. On thy feet, I say I, as in the I am. So this month, the whole theme has been about going further together. Reverend Robert talked on the first Sunday about the divine community, this divine community, and the communities that we participated. And then the second week was about sharing the dream. The third week, he talked about we and me, going further together. Last week, I talked about dig a little deeper. And today, I'm going to talk about I'll meet you there. And I'll meet you there really comes from, all of us have heard the Ruby poem that says, there's a field out beyond right and wrong doing, and I'll meet you there. What they don't go on to say in most cases, because you see the field, and you're thinking about out beyond right and wrong is a field. I'll meet you there. Most of us instantly go to a field of flowers or a field. In my case, my grandfather was a wheat farmer, so I can see the wheat gently blowing in the sky. But then it says, when the soul lies down in the grass, the world is too full to talk about ideas and languages, and even the phrase each other doesn't make any sense. Okay? What I'm going to do is I'm going to take you through a lot of different things on this ride today, on this airplane ride, or is it a broom ride? I don't know. I don't know. But what I do know is there is no turbulence. There is no turbulence on this ride. And what I also know is it's not out there. The field is not out there. It's about a vibration. It's about our vibration. It's about raising our vibration. And that's why I purposely had Amber read from the book, The Way of Mastery. And interesting enough, the person that, similar to A Course in Miracles, the person that got this information was right here in Santa Cruz. Okay, there's actually 3 sections to this book. The Way of the Heart is the first, because we have to get into the heart. Why? Because that's the magical place where the Holy Ghost in some traditions resides. That's that place where the innermost God and the outermost God is one God, right here. So there's no out there. I'm going to weave you through a few things, including the Science of Mind principles. The Science of Mind principles, you know, what we believe that I'm going to talk about today is that we believe in the unity of all life, and that the highest God and the innermost God is one God. We're going to talk about, I believe in the incarnation, we believe in the incarnation of spirit in all beings, and that every person is an incarnation of the one spirit. And I believe that the kingdom of heaven is within us, in that place where the highest God and the innermost God resides. And that I can experience this kingdom to the degree that I become conscious of it. That's the field, raising that consciousness. So I shared with you that the ancestors were ever present with me. I also like to have fun, and I'm a little kid. And so I brought my bag of goods. Okay. Now, this is the See's Candy Halloween bag, because See's Candy is the best. And they've got this motto that I love: quality without compromise. Now, I will tell you, I ate the See's candy. Okay, because after all, you know, it's the best. Well, my grandmother Bennett, the one that I referenced a little earlier, used to always, we spent a lot of time with her from the time I was born until I was 7. We spent almost every weekend with her, my older sister and I. And she did this magic trick. She'd always have a surprise for us, and she'd always have it behind her back. And she'd say, guess what I have for you? I have a surprise. And you know, the truth of it is, as I look back on it, it was always the same surprise. But she'd get us excited. And I used to always say, you know what, Grandma? You know what it is. Come on, Grandma, tell me what it is. You know what it is. Now, this is a candy bar. A candy bar. Some of you may know about it. Some of you may not. It is my go-to comfort candy bar, because it always gives me that warmth, and it raises my vibration. It puts me in that frequency of Grandma. Okay. Now, interesting enough, she used to always talk about the Abba Zabbas. I thought she was saying abracadabra and doing the magical. Now, some of you may or may not know that abracadabra is actually an Aramaic word. And the Aramaic translates to, I will create as it was spoken. Wow, isn't that what we do? You know, speak the truth, speak your word. Or we say thoughts or prayers. Abracadabra. It's a magical moment. She used to always tell me also to look up, look to the hills for your wisdom. She used to say, be still, but now I have to dig a little deeper here with this one, because I wanted to give the size a reason. She used to say, look to the stars, look to the Milky Way. And when I was a kid, the Milky Way seemed pretty far and far away. But the truth of it is, we are all travelers in the Milky Way. So as a kid, a big one, looking up, looked miniature. And again, I'm doing all of this because of Halloween. I'm giving the candy, the examples, but I'm also looking at the parables that my grandmother shared with me, and I didn't even know it. And that's how we learn, is through parables. That's how Jesus taught. That's why we had the reading that we had. She'd tell us, if you look to your North Star, what the heck is my North Star? Okay. If I look within to my guidance, that I would always find my way. That, believe it or not, that I would find my purpose, my whatchamacallit. What would I call it? My whatchamacallit. That I would find my purpose. And like some of you in the audience are doing right now, I get it. You're snickering just like I did, right? You're snickering, and these are almost there with C's candy, and but you snicker, right? And she'd share with me, sometimes you're going to come across rocky roads. Remember, I declared there was no turbulence on this flight. But if you were on a flight and you hit some turbulence, that's what it would be considered, a rocky road. That there would be twists and turns. But that if I stayed focused on the one, if I stayed focused on the one all the time, and I stayed focused on doing good, my good would bring plenty. Okay, my good would bring plenty. And then, of course, the one that really surprised me that she always talked about was the three Musketeers, the Trinity. Okay, what's the motto of the three Musketeers? All for one and one for all. Well, isn't that the highest God and the innermost God, the one God, the vibration? Isn't that the triune nature that we speak about in science of mind? In me, as me, through me. So I'm going, wow, that's pretty good. But the greatest gift that she always gave me was to know my worth. That you're worth more than 100,000 grand. Because you're 1 in a million. To always know my worth. And so I'm grateful for those gifts of my grandmother. I'm grateful for the gifts of my ancestors, because they always call me home. They call me home to the one, which, my grandfather Geier was a wheat farmer. So when they say the field, I instantly think of his field, which, by the way, is in the movie Twister. When you first come in, you're flying over Twister. And that crazy aunt's house in that movie, that was my dad's best friend's house. So it is a real place, the farmland and stuff like that. But the question becomes, out beyond right and wrong, where do we keep judging ourselves in right and wrong? There's a field, there's a vibration that, as my grandmother said, know your worth. Where do we know, or as the reading this morning was, the indeed, the word indeed, there is only one. There is no other options. Indeed, greetings unto you, beloved and holy friends. That's the place where there is no right or wrong. That's the place that should call you home. The innermost, the outermost God, one God. Indeed, greetings unto you, beloved and holy friends. Notice that in the writing, Jesus wasn't putting him above you. He was putting you as his equal. He also says, and you too could do this and so much more. Again, trying to let you see what your worth is. Then you look at, what would my life be like? We know what our life's like when we're not focused on the one. What's our life like if we got into that field? Not the field out there, but the vibration field. What would our life be like if we got into the vibration of knowing that we are one? We are the beloved. We are the holy friend. How would that be to totally step there and trust that? Is it hocus pocus? Is it magical abracadabra? Is it being who you truly are? And what keeps us from being there is that thought of right and wrong about ourselves. But as the song said, there's only one of us here. There's only one of us here. We're all unique expressions of that one. So with the pandemic, we're hearing a lot about the new normal. Things are going to get back to the way they were, is what some people say. I can't wait till it's normal. And then, I'm thinking of a song that my grandparents used to sing about. Those were the days, my friends. I thought they'd never end. I want it to end. And I want to step into fully being present. Not on a sugar high, but fully being present in that vibrational field, that I continue to evolve in this time, in this space. And I'm evolving out of time and out of space. Remember the book said something about that's where eternity is. It's not out there, it's out of time, because man put the word time together. So what do I need to do to establish in my consciousness something that raises my vibrations? How do I become a point of light? And we're going to hear that song in a little bit, but how do I become a point of light that when I step somewhere, I'm that place that opens the door for others to be fully expressive of who they are? How do I become that place where I step somewhere and when I see a wrong, I boldly go and say, this is wrong. I boldly go. How does that become one of my practices? Not to yell and scream, but how do I say, wait a second. Let's focus on the vibration. We all know the phrase, what would Jesus do? The question becomes, what would I do? Now, the answer is really simple and people don't get it, how simple it is. But the answer to what Jesus would do is he would love first. He would change the vibration. And the truth is we can change our vibration just by being present in the moment. So what does it take to be here now? I remember when I was taking my classes up in Oakland, Reverend Victor used to always do the calling tree training. And he would say to us that, as your phone rings, you should say a prayer. The prayer could be, indeed, greetings unto you, my beloved and holy friend. That could be the prayer, because after all, that is the first two steps of treatment. Indeed is all there is, God. And then beloved friends, you and I, beloved and holy friends. But he used to say, you have to be fully present to answer the phone. And be present and ready, because you never know who that is that's calling you, especially as licensed practitioners or licensed ministers. But the truth is we're all practitioners and we're all ministers. The people that are calling us, unless they're trying to get us to sign up for an extended warranty, are usually friends. They're calling us because they want to hear our voice. They want to hear our wisdom. They want to feel our vibration. Okay. How many times have you guys reached out to place a call and you got a busy signal or you got voicemail? Reverend Victor used to also tell us why that was. It's because I wasn't in the vibration to have the conversation. I was placing the call because it was a check mark, for lack of a better term. But that if I was fully present, the vibration would have us connect. So when I go through the day and I start getting busy signals, which we hardly ever get anymore, but if, because we go to voicemail, but if I start getting voicemails, I say, what am I not present? What am I not feeling the need to have? Because he would say, similar to the song, in my eyes, it's you I see. He would say, there's no one out there but me. It's my vibration that I'm calling. So where am I? So that was the lesson that he used to give to us. So from today's talk, what I want you to get is, is it hocus pocus? Or is it a vibration? Is it a vibration of light, a point of light? Is it the God in me sees the God in you, as it's said in the Namaste principle? Is it the, do I take the time when I'm not present to look up? Some of you have heard me say, you look up to that place where the ceiling and the wall meet. Just the idea of raising your eyes raises your vibration. I look up for where my wisdom comes. I look up for where the answer is. I look up to refresh myself. There's no abracadabra, hocus pocus with looking up. And we're told to look up from the Psalms. The Psalms tell us to look up. The Psalms also tell us about being fully present. The Psalms tell us when you walk through the shadow of death. It doesn't say avoid it. It doesn't say turn around. It says walk through. So when you come up, some of the shadows of death that we face are our belief systems. What is the BS that we hold on to? And I'm saying it that way for a reason, okay? I gladly hold on to some of my grandmother's Irish superstitions. Are they true? Are they not? I don't know. And the truth is, I do know. But I also know it keeps me close to her. And I've only kept the ones that increase my vibration because my languaging around them has changed. Will I, of course, keep the vibration of, Grandma? Of course, because that connects me to my little kid. That connects me to my playful time. It connects me to her. And, the other reason she's ever present with me right now, too, is she was my age when she taught me to roller skate. She taught me how to play a mean game of badminton. And when I say she taught me by showing me. So at her age, which was old then, of course I'm young, but it was old then, she was on roller skates, and they are not the roller skates we know today. They were the roller skates that latched over your shoes, and she taught us how to roller skate. She didn't play tea party badminton. She played aggressive badminton, which is a great sport. But she was always playful. And what was funny is she was older by 10 years than my dad's grandmother, but my dad's grandmother always acted older. My dad's grandmother was always old. But my grandmother Bennett was always young. Okay, where I choose to be. So leaving here, if you take anything with you, it's, I'll meet you there. I'll meet you where your vibration is. And hopefully our encounter together will raise each other's vibration. But it's not out there. It's not in that field that we're going to meet beyond right and wrongdoing. We're going to meet at that place where you are holy now. And I'm going to present that place of my holy, holy now. And that's about all I need to say right now. So let's just breathe that in for a second. Let's breathe that in for a moment and we'll go into prayer. And with our first breath, we say, indeed, indeed, there is only one God. Beloved, as we hold our hand over our heart and we feel our heart beating, we know that that's the place where God is within us. It's our very breath, it's our heartbeat. And it's the heart connection that we meet our beloved and holy friends. It's that field within that allows us to be present with those that have the shape other than ours. Whether they're seen or unseen, it's that place in the heart that allows us to connect. And what I know right here and right now, as I speak my word, words are being spoken throughout the world, whether it's in a synagogue, a temple, a center just like this, a special prayer room, a place in nature, where we're taking in the awe of God. We're taking in the allness of life itself. And I know it's from this innermost place that decisions are made. From this innermost place, there is only love. From this innermost place is the field beyond right and wrong. It's the place that we all come together as one. And it's knowing this truth, it's knowing this love, it's being able to celebrate this time, the season, the time where the ancestors gather, the thin veil where we can feel their presence regardless of where they are, that we give thanks. And we give thanks for the lights, the point of lights that each of us are, the lights that we bring into the world, the lights we are in the world. And we know it's at that place that peace and love, joy and laughter, and the unique expression of each of us, expressing our gods are none. It's for this knowingness, it's for this life itself. I give thanks. And if anything I've said in this prayer, anything I've said in this day rings true for you, I'd ask you to join me by saying, and so it is. Amen. So today we're going to share of our abundance. We're going to invite our Facebook friends, our Zoom guests and viewers to come join us. Come join us again next week. We're going to, where the theme for next week is this November series is Breathe in the View. And next week's theme is the view from here. And as we prepare to go into next week, we'll do the affirmation of abundance. And this is your opportunity to give of your gifts, your time, your talents. And join me in saying the affirmation of abundance, please. I recognize the presence of God within as the source of my abundance. Out of my abundance, consciousness flows, desire and life. You guys are fast. With gratitude and thanksgiving, I now participate in the flow of uninterrupted abundance. I release this visible substance, an outer symbol of my inner supply, into the physical world. This prosperous experience is evidence of my abundance consciousness. And so it is. And you know what? This is not something that the Center for Monterey has asked me to do, but it's something I'm going to do. We're also entering the month of November, which is Thanksgiving. And there are families and communities that aren't as healthy or prosperous as us and doesn't believe in things that we do. And so I know that the Center of Monterey gives back to the community. And so if you have some extra money this time of year, I would invite you to think about giving it to the center so the center can continue to have it ripple into the world. So you can mail a check into the center, and you can mail a separate one that says this is for Thanksgiving. This is for giving thanks. This is for the holiday season. You can go on the website. If you go on the website gives you an opportunity to put little notes if you want to on what you'd like your giving to give to. Or you could also text your giving to the text that's on the slide. And know that we're grateful. The center is grateful for your giving. And know that you, the ripple effect affects you too, because what you give comes back. You know, you can, the truth of the matter is you can't outgive God. You can't outdo God, even though all of us sometimes try to do that. We can't, because there's only God. And then after this, is there anything else that we need to do or say, or are we saying goodbye to our Facebook friends? So long, Facebook friends, thank you for joining. Make sure that you share the good word with everybody about all the activities that the Center for Monterey is doing, Center for Spiritual Living here in Monterey is doing. And with that, we'll go to, now you get to really see the full effect of who I am.